Sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. And Joe King Carter.
Yes.
That's the way we start the show each and every week. And I don't know why, but it feels normal and natural by now. We've been doing this for a minute, Joey.
Yeah.
I have to say, and Joe King Carter, rather than and Joe King Carter. Because if I say it that way, people think you're a jokester and they won't take you seriously. Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's midday. It's hump day. It's the part of the week that, we talk about it each and every week after this noon hour. That cart is on the top right now, the top of the roller coaster, and then we go zooming towards the weekend.
It's all downhill that's going uphill after that.
It is. It is.
By the way, I just so people don't think the ego is inflated.
Okay.
I could be Joe Carter easily, but do you know how many Joe Carters are out there?
A billion.
And so Joe King kind of sets me a little bit
And there's
apart.
a story behind it, too, and we'll talk about that sometime.
Someday.
There's a story behind that. So let me just say again, for the record, this is The Conversation.
Yes.
This is WMNF 88.5 right here in Tampa, FM, of course, and WMNF.org if you happen to be listening and watching from anywhere in the world, like somebody like Ronnie Elliott might be doing right now, because I think he's in somewhere he's in the left coast. He's out there enjoying himself on the left coast. So yeah, you can watch
Across
us
the pond.
No, he's not there. He's in Oregon.
Oh, he's in Oregon.
Yes.
Wow,
Joey,
I didn't know that.
Ronnie gets around.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a home base in London, England, but right now he's enjoying Portland, where I think it's even as hot as it is here.
Hey, Ronnie, stop by and come on our show.
On the flyover. Please do next time you're in town. And if you're listening to us from anywhere else in the world on the web, on the World Wide Web, it's WMNF.org.
Yes.
So we're in for a great show today, Joey. But before we get to our guest, who's sitting there smiling at us, because that's what she does.
Yes.
You can watch us. Reminder, everybody, spoiler alert, you can watch this show and not just hear it, but you can watch it simulcast with all the proper audio on Facebook, right? We do a Facebook live feed each and every week from my personal page, which is Mario, Mario, middle initial R, last name Nunez, N-U-N-E-Z. And why do I use the R, Joey? Because you know what? There's a lot of Mario Nunez's out there, too.
I bet.
A lot of them in Florida.
I bet.
A lot more of them in Texas and California. I don't know what that says. Mm-hmm. I'm just giving you the geography, y'all. Mm-hmm. So, Joey, let's talk like we do each and every week. How was your week, my brother?
My week was good. I've had some wrist thumb problems, and I went to I have arthritis in a thumb joint that's really painful.
Yes, sir.
And this aging thing, it is not.
It sucks.
As they say, it is not for the weak of heart.
Yeah.
But so I had this really cool experience because I actually learned things that about how to treat my hand and how to exercise and do things. And
manipulations.
I'm wearing a glove brace that's making the pain less, and life is good. But I did want to say,
please,
that I was reading this week, and I made notes of this. I was reading something that really jumped out at me, which is that 2,000 years ago, Plato, remember Plato?
Of course.
Yeah.
I used to, colorful. It came in little cans, and we used to, make shapes with them.
Right. I thought you were going to say
that's Plato.
The dog Pluto, but no. So Plato observed that when people begin focusing only on their own desires,
yes, sir,
of thinking about society as a whole, freedom starts to turn into chaos.
Oopsie.
And he was addressing democracy, a democrat, which, the
2,000 years ago.
Yeah, the ancient Greeks were just all over democracy, right? So they're talking about this, and he's saying, hey, folks, if you're just thinking about yourself, democracy is not going to work. That's basically what he's saying. And I thought that was really interesting because I think we are learning now that there is a kind of repercussion from not paying attention to our government.
So it's amazing, Joey. We don't talk a lot of times between shows because we're busy, man. You're busy rehabilitating your thumb. I'm busy doing other things. But the truth of the matter is, on the way into the show today,
yes,
that thought crossed my mind because. Yes. Here's what it is. It's we're circling the wagons so tight now that there's only like 3 wagons in that circle. And the main wagon is your wagon because that's the only wagon that you can be concerned about because everything else is squeezing us like a constrictor. It's just squeezing us and squeezing us.
Yeah.
So if we don't have enough to feed our youngin', how are we going to be worried and concerned about you over there that you don't have enough to feed your youngin'. You know, if we don't take the pot off the boil pretty soon, and by that I mean yesterday, this thing is going to go real bad real fast. And I don't know, because I'm just old enough and becoming just cynical enough to think that we might not be able to stop it, even if we elect the right people this November, because we might be too close to the precipice with enough inertia behind us to push us over the edge. Now, I don't want to get too doom and gloom here, you guys, but what Joey is saying is absolutely correct.
Right.
If we once we just shut that door, man, where we can't see anything else but beyond our nose,
right,
it's problematic. It's problematic.
But the good news is that what he's actually inferring there is that you have a chance to change that by
give it to me, Joe.
By looking beyond your own selfish needs and looking at and if you're forced to do that, then that happens. And I think this is apropos.
Oh, we're being forced to do that.
Yeah, I think this is apropos for us because we are coming to you right now live from community radio, and I have over time developed definitely the insight that community is everything. Community is that the guys that want the power don't want you to be involved in your community. So you know what? Show them who you are and
resist.
Be involved.
Resistance.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
What a great segue, Joey. What a great segue.
Yeah.
Because community is what's in the house today here at WMNF.
Community's in the house.
Community's in the house. And by that, let me just say that the Campfire Sunshine Kids, can I repeat that again? The Campfire Sunshine Kids are having a work day here. And when I walked up this morning to come into the studio, they're swarming all over this place. There's a bunch of them. Let me read their names to you now because I think they deserve it. Averly is here. Nate, Owen, Daryl, Lily C., Lily J., Nikki, Ava, and we've got camp counselors Lakin and Daryl. And they're the Campfire Sunshine Kids from Lakeland. And Kinsey's here as well. Kinsey, I didn't forget you. They're here as well. And what are they doing? What's a work day involved? Well, if you've ever been by the studios here, you know we have a marvelous xeriscape outside. What's that, Mario? Xeriscape? Well, that's a horticultural phenomenon that is like, imagine all of the stuff that you might grow in your garden that doesn't require a lot of maintenance or water, kind of a thing, right? So, but even with that, it gets overgrown. Right, Joey? So the kids are out there today. They're pulling weeds. They're beautifying the building. They're working inside. They're helping us organize everything that needs to be done. Volunteer effort. Here it is.
God bless
Bell
them.
ring
God
for the
bless them.
Campfire Sunshine Kids. If we had an applause track, we would use it right now.
Yeah.
And we're going to get one before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Are you listening there, producer, director, and all around good
Well, we're
gal?
going to have to get it.
Come on, Jessica. Help us out.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start our show now after about 15 minutes of jibber jabber.
Yeah.
Who's with us today, Joey?
Hey, I'm so excited because we have today with us our Director of Development for WMNF, who makes a lot of things happen here, and you're going to get to know some inside workings of this station.
Say her name.
Her name is Sherry Ackerman. Welcome, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a delight to see you here.
Well, we see you every week, Joey. Come on, we see you every week. Now, let's not be that way.
But it is
always a delight.
But I'm going to say right up front that Sherry has one of those affectations of her face and her life where she's open and clean and
good
cool,
energy,
and she's
good
great face, great love. It's all coming off of you.
Oh, thank you.
Girlfriend. Yeah. Okay.
And she's in the right position because she is the development director here at WMNF. What does that entail?
Well, it means that I am responsible to raise the funds for this beautiful community station so that it can continue in perpetuity.
Wow.
Come on now, that's a long time.
So before we get deep into that, let's get to know Sherry a little bit.
Let's do that.
All right. So where did you grow up?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
All right now.
Yeah, New Hampshire. There you go. I can bring it out if you're
fun
not.
place to grow. Fun place to grow up. Yes.
It's a beautiful place to grow up. Yeah. It's I grew up in a small town, Franklin, New Hampshire, and I wouldn't call it rural, but it's a small town, and lots of trees to climb and build forts, and we used to ride our bike up to the lake, and We
Beautiful
do our
falls,
swimming
right?
lessons there. Yeah,
Expressive falls with all the colors.
beautiful fall. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Back when children had an extent of freedom that they don't have today.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what an amazing
Came
time.
home when the lights came on.
That's right. As a friend of mine says, his mother would say, I don't want to see your face until dinner. So, so siblings?
Yes, I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Oh, you're the middle child. I see.
Yes,
How'd that work out for you?
I've got middle child syndrome.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, y'all.
Yeah. Middle children tend to be the negotiators between everybody.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's
Making
right.
the peace. And middle children right now that are listening to us are going, that's right.
That's right. That's right.
Because they know.
Yeah. So, what kind of little girl were you knocking around there? Were you a bookworm kid? Were you a jockey kid?
Were you
What
building the forts? Were you helping
I
to
was a
build the forts?
tomboy,
There
100%.
it is.
Okay.
There's a big age gap between my sister and us. Me and my brother are 2.5 years apart, but our sister's 8 years from me, so 10 years from him. So me and my brother were playmates, and yeah, we were always outside riding bikes, playing in the dirt, the sticks.
So he was kind
Making
of,
mud pies, hurling them at each other. Mud
He
balls.
was kind of
we
the
did
leader.
make mud pies.
he
Yeah.
was the leader of the pack, so to speak, and you did boy things a lot.
I mean,
Or maybe there were just more boys in the
he
neighborhood.
played Barbies with me once,
There
but
you
he
go.
wasn't
Good for him.
allowed to after that.
Good for him. I loved my dolls when I was a little boy. so,
Joey.
okay, so you're kind of building forts and playing around. What about in school? Let's look at you.
What
in
were your
school.
curiosities in school?
Honestly, I didn't do very well. I guess I'd say I in school. I mean, I was fine until then when high school came around, and it was kind of a tough time for me. And I didn't do that great academically. It wasn't until I got into college that I realized I was actually smart. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a teacher or it takes an aunt, an uncle. If we're lucky, our parents recognize it and they foster it and they encourage it. But sometimes you muddle along and you might not even realize, wow, with a little more effort, I would have been a National Honor Society student in a blink.
Yeah. I think I just didn't have the support system then.
You didn't have the support, and also intelligent kids sometimes are bored. They don't really. It's like, okay, this isn't important. I don't need to do this.
Both of my parents were ninth grade dropouts.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, school just wasn't a priority.
Wasn't valued. Yeah, wasn't
We
valued.
were never asked about our homework, and that was really my
Big part
failing
of it.
point. I attended class, but I didn't do homework.
Right. Okay, and nobody was asking you, so
No.
what does it matter? And what about socially? Were you
Butterfly.
a butterfly?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Having fun.
So you're floating around having fun and not doing your homework as much. That's kind of you.
That's right. And my brother was the complete opposite. Not super social, not very popular. Sorry, Robert.
Sorry,
But
Robert.
burying his head in the books.
But very smart.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very smart, very studious. So we
Yeah.
always used to joke that he was the smart one and I was the pretty one.
So if you return
Back
to
when I was young.
if you return to a class reunion, you'd be voted one of the more popular girls there, probably
Moderately.
moderately, because you were floating around. So you,
Yeah.
you
But
were
at least she was known. You were known.
Yeah.
Your classmates knew who you were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I relate. Believe me. So, okay. So now we get to high school and we're leaving, and what happens next?
Oh,
Oh,
Have you had enough of New Hampshire?
that was a heavy O.
That was a sigh. It was a bit of a sigh.
We don't expect it to be simple. It can be complicated.
yeah, I actually dropped out of high school.
Okay.
My senior year, second semester, so it's something probably nobody knows around here. That I'm a real, I guess, struggle story. I come from a poor family, so I grew up in poverty, and it's a bit of a story, but I was in a car accident. I wasn't driving, but I was in the 11th grade, and my mom had kicked me out, and I was living on my own since I was 16. So I was working and trying to go to school, and then this accident happened, and I missed a lot of school. And basically, they gave me zeros for the semester, so it put me back. And I, tried to double up, and I just couldn't do it, and I ended up just leaving school. And then I moved to Florida.
From New Hampshire.
From New Hampshire, yes. I had
Bit of cultural shock.
So I wasn't born and raised Muslim. My mom's side is Catholic. My dad's side is Protestant. And I really would say I was agnostic all of that time, or indifferent, if you will. And then I had a boyfriend, a high school sweetheart, and he was in the military, and he was stationed down in Fort Walton Beach. And I went and visited him, and I was hoping, we weren't together at this point, we had broke up, but I was hoping. And anyway, I moved down there at 18 years old. I packed up my car, my apartment. I'd never left the state, and I drove all the way down and
Wow.
yeah, rented
All
a
by your
place.
lonesome?
Yes, and transferred my job. I was a hostess at the Holiday Inn at the time, and actually I ended up
And a darn good hostess, I bet.
transferring to Navarre Beach. So if anybody knows the Panhandle, this was in 1995, and 2 lovely hurricanes came through at that time.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was my introduction to Florida, and that actual hotel was messed up and closed, and
Wow.
so that's how I ended up in Florida.
A lot of so you're a lot of life lessons in a very short period of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're in Florida and you're 20, 18?
I moved. I was 18. Yep, and then at 20, I met what would be my future husband, and he was Muslim. He was from Pakistan, and this is how I was introduced to Islam, and I converted when I was 20 years old.
When you were 20?
When I was 20. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's what a big move to make. I mean, I think from
Yes.
my viewpoint, given our cultural setting, what a move to make.
Just to be clear, I was not forced, and I did not become Muslim because I married a Muslim man. I was introduced to the faith, and you
And it
know,
spoke
here
to
I
you.
am,
It spoke to you.
divorced 30 years and still Muslim, and you know,
Right.
so.
And so, since we're here, let's talk a little bit about that, because you know, when I first met you here, and as I see you every day when I'm here, you wear your hijab, and so I am always interested in people who their religion manifests on them physically. A person wears a crucifix around their neck, or a Jewish person covers their head or has a yarmulke or something like that. It's not really that uncommon, but on the other hand, it's not really common either. So what was that commitment like for you? I mean, how did that feel, you transitioning from a person in a society where your hair, oh wow, hair, we're like a hair culture, you know, everybody's talking about their hair, right? How did that all work for you? Give me a sense of the feeling of that specific part of that.
I mean, I was, you know, your typical 19, 20-year-old. I had zero, I mean, at least from my frame of reference, I had zero interest in religion, right? Any religion.
Right.
Wasn't on my radar at all. But through my interactions and an experience, I'll say, that I had, I felt compelled to go and learn.
Compelled, yes.
Compelled to learn, compelled
Yes.
to inquire and take a deeper look.
Yes.
And this was the first religion that spoke to you? I mean,
Yeah.
Were your parents very religious?
No.
You mentioned their religions. I was curious.
Catholic and Protestant, but not. It wasn't a driving force in the family.
No, and at that time, you know, Catholic wasn't allowed to marry a Protestant, someone outside of Catholicism. So my mom was not able to marry in the church and had left the church basically because of
Wow.
her marriage to my father.
Wow. So the fundamentals and the concepts of the religion must have really grabbed you.
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
I can.
Please.
People always ask me, "Oh, why did you become Muslim?" And I always, my short answer is because it was so logical. So I went to a mosque or masjid, as we normally call it, and in Pensacola, Florida. And I was really fortunate because that masjid had a lot of converts. And so I was able to ask a lot of cross-religious questions. And so, you know, I said, you know, like, why is God a man? And then I remember them telling me, well, in Islam, God has no gender. God is not a man. God is not a woman. we don't even have in a language, Arabic, has plural, has masculine, feminine, and plural forms. But the word Allah, and that's why people tend to use Allah even when they convert instead of saying God, because God has feminine and plural forms,
Yes.
but the word Allah does not. And so, because God is God, and God is not a man or a woman,
Interesting.
and the other question or thing that was really in my mind was, okay, we have Judaism, which came first, but then Judaism doesn't accept Jesus. How could Jesus be nobody? And then Islam comes and says, these are all different chapters in the same book. Mm-hmm. And this seems so basic, but that was just never a concept that we were taught or allowed to think about. It was like, this one's right and this one's wrong. And my mind was blown. And I said, that makes so much sense. It's all from the same source. You know what I mean? And so we have it's called 6 Articles of Faith. And one of those articles is that we believe in all of the prophets. And we believe in the books, we believe in the Torah, we believe in the Gospels. So it's this all-encompassing idea that this is all coming from the same source. This is just the 3rd chapter in the book. And then
when Sherry was just mentioning it, the thought popped into my head. She said, "Well, God is neither male nor female. It doesn't ascribe to any gender."
Right.
I was thinking the same thing. Well, Santa Claus is he always white? I mean, Santa Claus could be brown or black. I mean, Santa Claus is Santa Claus, and there's kind of there's a thought there that you have to be open and accepting. I like the idea that God is the energy, God is the source, God is love, and why are we affixing a feature to it? Why is it the guy that we think of, or Jesus in this case, Jesus with his beard and his blue eyes and his beautiful skin?
Right.
I don't know about any of that.
Yeah, he's Peter O'Toole.
And somebody explained to me how, with those blue eyes, piercing blue eyes. And somebody explained to me again, because I lose my way sometimes, how is it that a Jewish fella became the symbol of Christianity?
Yeah,
and
right.
I don't know. And now we're not going to be talking about that today, so don't be calling in and giving us your information on that unless you've got it on good sources. And we'll give you the number to call in in just a little bit. But these are the things that Sherry is sharing with us. How about that alliteration?
Yeah.
She's comparting some of this with us as a means of, hey, there's room for everybody here. There's a big old wide school of thought. And I think at the end of the day, and I hate that phrase, but it applies here, just be a good person.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think the main, we're all brothers and sisters in faith.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Right. In the human community.
Yeah.
Yes, and in the human community, absolutely.
I grew up, I can relate to this from this viewpoint. I grew up among evangelicals who were very literal interpreters. So the earth was created in, 7 days and 6 days. And then God, I went to my minister and he said, it's 6 24-hour time periods, Joe. It's not millions of years per day. I was like, okay. And so what it's done for me over time, and I studied comparative religion in college and stuff like that. What it's done for me is I have a kind of fear or a reservation about in conversations with anybody I meet using the word God, because I don't know what that means to you, right?
Right, yeah.
And so
Correct.
the problem is, when I say God, are you thinking of what I'm thinking about? Because you might literally see an old bearded man up in the clouds. So I so understand what you're saying, that a religion that you become compelled to have would have to make sense to you.
Right.
Right. And that's what happened. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And you've been practicing ever since?
Yeah, so where we left off was I had got married and then I had a son, and then marriage didn't work out. 9/11 happened. I didn't wear a scarf at the time. And when 9/11 happened, about 6 months later, 6 months later, I moved to Florida, to Tampa, and I started wearing the hijab.
I was going to ask you, because the timing worked out right close to 9/11, and I was going to ask you because that was a very fraught time for a lot of people.
Yes.
I mean, there were a lot of Muslims that were shaving which is contrary to their religion because they just didn't want to stand out because of the hate in this
Changing
country.
their name, taking their scarves off.
Absolutely.
Yes, hiding. Yes.
And you were just coming into your religion, so you were, some people were rushing out that door. You were kind of going in.
Yeah.
Oh, did I hit a nerve? Did I say something funny?
Well, I mean, so those first 5 years I didn't wear hijab. And then when I took it in that interesting time frame, I think for me, 9/11 meant a lot of things to me. Like I as an American and then as a Muslim, it hurt twice. It hurt. First of all, that something so horrible happened, to our country and to innocent civilians. And then on the other side, it hurt because it's like my people, because my foot's in two boats, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what does that mean for my community? Because always when there is something,
who can you turn to?
Yeah, something bad that happens, right? The Muslim community faces a lot of hate crimes and backlash. And so when I put the scarf on, it was a scary moment, not for me. For me, it was a pivotal moment because I felt like, okay, what's your identity? What is your identity? And I felt like, so my ex-husband, that was the time that we were divorcing, and he was really upset because my son was only 2 years old. And he said, you're putting him at risk. You're going to, every time you walk out the door, if, something's could happen to him, And I told him, I'd rather die practicing my faith and feeling like I'm good with God than to continue like this.
Wow.
Without because wearing a scarf, the actual reason that we wear a scarf is to be recognized as believers. This is what's in the Quran, so that when people look at me, they understand that means something. Now, unfortunately, they look at me and they think it means something else.
Right.
But it's supposed to have an understanding that, at certain principles, I live my life in a certain way. I don't gamble, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal, right? It's supposed to mean certain things. So it's actually the intention of the scarf is meant to be a protection for women so that they're not absconded when they're out in public, and so that men are forced to look at women. That's actually, in my opinion, the ultimate feminist act, because you are forcing somebody, when you cover your body and you cover your beauty, to judge you based on your character, to look at you as a potential partner and a potential mother for their children. And so this was really important to me, that I was living what I believed on the inside, on my outside was reflected.
Sitting here near you, I can feel how important it is to
Let's take a quick pause. Let's do a little station ID. We'll reintroduce our guest, give you some phone numbers and some information how you can get in touch with us on the other side.
Hi, I'm Paul Wilborn, and you're listening to The Conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 FM, Tampa.
Nice. That was Paul Wilborn, and he shared with us last week,
Paul,
a new
great
book
show
that he's written.
If you've not heard it, it's in our archives,
and
folks.
you must listen to it. It's a book
good
that he's
show.
recently published on the life of the scoundrel.
The Everlasting Life of Charlie
Wall. Charlie Wall. For those of you that have been in Tampa for a minute, that name might resonate with you. So we're talking today with Miss Sherry Akram, and she is our developmental director. Developmental director?
No, definitely not.
That came out funny.
You guys are all developed.
I know. Some of us
Well,
are.
partially,
Some of us are, Our development director here at WMNF, which means...
Or director of development.
Director of development.
Yes.
She also is in charge of making sure that we stay on track, that we have all the tools that we need when we do our fundraising. She is our conduit to the community and our inspiration for going out there and slaying the dragon each and every quarter of the month when we have to do our fundraising,
Yes.
Sherry. And we lean
Every
into it. We
quarter,
lean into it
yes.
because you know what? You are our general in the field. You know what I mean?
And she's working with donors and other things, and we'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah,
but
sure.
before we leave this part of where we are, and you can say, I don't really want to talk about that. That's fine. In your own, given that place, that environment that you just created that happened after 9/11, what is there anything about what you have experienced in terms of hate that you would want to share?
Yes, there was many incidences. Some were small, you get a middle finger when you drive in, or One time I was in the mall and somebody told me, take that effing garb off.
Wow.
But I was kicked out of a Dairy Queen once.
A Dairy Queen?
Yes.
Not even allowed to eat a dilly bar? What's up with that?
Yeah. And then, but the biggest incident was I used to have a jewelry cart, a silver jewelry cart in the West Shore Mall in 2003, sorry. I'm old. Way back when. And it was after the Madrid bombings, and there was a Spanish tourist couple with their teenage daughter that attacked me. And they tried to grab my scarf, tried to grab my neck, and things like that.
God.
Yeah. And
completely unnecessary.
filed hate crime charges, but there was nothing that they could do because was no cameras at the mall at the time, and those people just left. And I sold my cart shortly after that. Yeah.
Well, I can only say that I'm sorry that you've had to go through that, although I guess it might somehow have some effect in your life that would be positive. But I will say this: are they kicking the Catholic nuns out of DQ?
Right? Because they cover up.
I mean, seriously, folks.
They do.
mean, if you don't think that this is about unbelievable prejudice and hatred,
racism, everything that goes with it.
and all that, then let's talk about nuns wearing their habits. I mean, it's really just unbelievable that we can be.
How
at
far
this
you want to
level
go
of
back, Joey?
ignorance.
Because, if we're going to be prejudicial against people that are wearing their yarmulkes or prejudicial against people that are wearing their dashikis, this may go all the way back to the fellas that wore their belt buckles on their hats and shoes. I don't know what that means exactly, but, that was a look too, right?
Yeah.
And if you threw down that look, it meant something to the public at large. You were wearing your faith literally on your head, and I guess it was beware of this group, or how are you supposed to approach that? I thought this was supposed to be the United States of America, where everybody was welcome. I thought that was, but
Right.
we're slowly, but
where you have the ability to choose a faith, right?
Absolutely, and express
freedom
that
from
faith.
religion
But when you put that into practice,
and
right,
for religion.
then that's when it's really challenged. Then you have to, and so that was another awakening moment for me, that we're raised with all of this ideology, but when you try to put it to practice, you find out that it was just in theory.
It gets real, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for me, I always felt like a white woman, even with a scarf on my head. To me, my identity, I'm American, New Hampshire, 603,
right, yeah.
live free or die. You know?
We've seen the license plates.
But to somebody else who's looking at me, that's not how I'm perceived. They perceive me as a foreigner. A little statistic for everyone: people assume that all Muslims are Arabs, and the Arab population, the Muslim Arab population, is only like 15% of the world.
Right.
The actual largest population
Indonesia.
of Muslims is Southeast Asians,
right.
and
Right.
the largest population of Muslims in the U.S. are African Americans.
Right.
And the fastest growing Muslim population in the U.S. are Latinas and Latinos. So
Interesting.
Sherry, I think out of
Interesting.
everything that we've talked about today, that little nugget that you just laid on us, that's impressive. I mean, just people don't know what they don't know.
the majority of Arabs are Christian.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Isn't
course,
that
makes
something,
sense.
y'all? Let me give you that phone number now so we can talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a great place to jump off and entertain some of your thoughts. If you'd like to call us and talk to us, you have a question, and the phones are ringing even before I'm giving the number out. It's 813-239-9663. You can send us a text, 813-433-0885. If you're too busy to do any of that and you want to send us an email, Jessica will read your email if it's worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Well, even the unworthy will read.
That's DJ, and I'll speak to that in a second. That's DJ at WMNF.org. You know, it was Abraham Lincoln that once famously said, "It's better to remain silent and thought a fool than to speak up and remove all doubt." I'll leave it right there.
So, and one other thing about this thing about what you wear, and I thought it was interesting before we started the show, you were talking about doing historic research about immigration, and a huge number of these people that were coming over in the late 1800s and early 1900s in America they were women that came from cultures where they covered their head.
Yeah.
And this was very common among Sicilians for whatever those reasons may be. That I'm not sure I'm as up to date on Sicilian culture as I should be. But
and you did not enter church without your head covered.
Correct.
if
That's
you're
right.
Catholic.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. And
It's not a foreign concept.
I remember my grandmother very well wearing her veil, entering the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
remember.
So should we move on to what you are currently doing, or is there something between where we were and where we are now that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, I said that I dropped out of high school, so people might be wondering, well, how are you a development director? So I did go to college after divorce.
And you developed.
Yes, I developed, and I majored in history, and my minor was in religious studies. And then I worked in the nonprofit sector, and I did my CFRM, which is a certificate in fundraising management, and that's how I'm here today.
I see.
But it took me
Yes.
14 years to get my bachelor's degree.
Wow.
Persistence pays off.
Yep.
That kind of says something very positive to me.
Yes, it does. You got to
Yeah.
crawl before you walk, and got to walk before you run, Joe.
And commitment.
And stick-to-itiveness.
And so you were working for other nonprofits?
Yes, I worked for a civil rights organization.
Okay.
Of course you did. Who doesn't that seem like a natural fit, Joey?
Absolutely.
Who recruited you to come into this wonderful family at WMNF? Or did you knock on the door and say, listen, I'd like to work for you guys?
Actually, it was Ahmed Badir, who's with True Talk here at the station, who alerted me to the position that was open.
The opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, we owe him a huge debt of gratitude.
Yes, we do.
And he was the first executive director for CARE Florida in Tampa.
Is he still about? Is
And he
still
was
doing
the
good work?
one that when that hate crime happened at West Shore Mall was the one that came out and had the news come out and
Cover that story.
Cover the story. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's not
And
typical.
that's how we met.
Well, that's not
Wow.
typical of Spanish behavior. I mean, I'm a little bit sad about that. You know what I mean? They probably knew somebody that was personally involved in that. I was just there a day or two before the bombing in Madrid. I was there on a layover a day or two before, and it was horrible because we
course.
had crews that were there on the ground when that happened. So, yes, to all of that, but why do we have to lead with that? I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
Did anybody ever tell you, Joey, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all?
Well, the
or if you
thought
ain't
I
got
have,
nothing nice to do, just don't do nothing, man. Walk away.
the thought I have is emotions are very strange, and I won't go too deep into this. Every decision I've ever made in my life that I've used emotions as the filter has gone wrong. It's just the way it works. And for people to be emotionally responding to an event in their lives by blaming a group when it was committed by a person
Right.
is really a huge mistake. And we're seeing it now with people that are anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish because of the politics of Israel and Gaza and all these other things in Iraq and Iran. And the truth is, this is just not good thinking of othering people because of one incident. And so it's just too bad that happened to you. So that's how you discovered WMNF. And how's
that going so far?
Well, sort of. I actually came on air, I think, in 2018. I was on Shelley Reback's show. I was representing Indivisible Tampa Bay.
Right here in this studio? Has Shelley always been in this studio? We miss you, Shelley, by the way. We miss you. I mean,
absolutely, we miss her. So, okay, so but did this call to you, or what did you think about this job? I mean, you had not worked in radio before.
No, not at all. It was everything was new. It was I had to learn, more about public media and community radio. I mean, not that public media was foreign to me. I was a very loyal NPR listener. But,
Right.
it's I can come in here and I can apply fundraising principles, but there are things that are happening here that are different than a regular nonprofit, right? Like a regular nonprofit doesn't have a fund drive, for example.
Right.
And a listenership. I mean, you have a medium here, you have microphones, you have on air, a tool that, also other nonprofits
You have a
don't have.
public presence
Yeah.
No
that
doubt.
is an outreach presence that's very different than most, I would assume. So So what are some of the? Let's talk a little bit about what some of the jobs are of the director of development for WMNF.
Well, the development director is responsible for almost all of the revenue streams here, excluding events. Events are under another department, but so anything that relates to the fund drives, end of year campaign, public media giving days, Giving Tuesday, major gifts, planned giving, underwriting, corporate partnerships, sponsorships, it's all under me.
Sounds like somebody's very busy, Joey. A lot busier than you and me, pal. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say it out loud.
No, absolutely.
I'm going to need this hour back.
Oh, caller, we saw you there. What happened to that caller that was just there from Dunedin?
You have to charge you for it.
I know. I hear you. I hear you. And so if the caller wants to call back, I was just about to go to you there, but we draw. And I don't know if we're having issues with our phones today a little bit because the phones keep ringing and calls go on hold and then they drop off. Maybe they just get tired of holding. But Carl, we saw you there and then you disappeared. If you want to call back, we'll take that call.
We'll do a better job of picking
He was
you up.
only on the line for 4 minutes. You know, we got a running total here. I've held people on the line for much longer than 4 minutes. But
there we go.
Sherry was saying that she's going to need her hour back, Joey.
That's right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
I don't know that we can do that. But
So let's address, for example, because I think that probably a lot of people out there who are listening, probably that world that you are the person responsible for is a world that's unknown to them. So let's talk a little bit about, let's say, underwriting. How does that all work?
So underwriting is basically on-air announcements when people want to talk about either an event that they're having or about their own organization or business. They can pay for on-air announcements. They can also sponsor a show.
They can sponsor a show. So
we can have a sponsor, Sherry?
You can have a sponsor, yes.
Oh, how does that work, Sherry?
So that means that if you love the conversation, for example, that
And who doesn't?
and exactly at the top of the hour, your announcement can be the first underwriting announcement, and it's designed and worded in a way that it says that you're supporting the conversation.
I
You are
see the
sponsor of
cogs
the company.
turning.
Oh, my gosh.
In Mario's head, I see the cogs.
If you
physically
guys
turning.
could see the look on my face now, it's like the jaw is slack, and it's like, oh, I didn't know anything about that.
And the nonprofit rate, if you're a nonprofit that wants to have underwriting, is 50% reduced from the for-profit rate. So
Hey, can I say right up at the top right now, and when it's not the top, it's almost at the end.
Oh, you got to call
I
her.
made my bail last week, Joey. I made my bail. You know,
That's
for
right.
those of you that were curious as to whether Mario was going to be here this week because he might be still in jail, I made my bail. For those of you that remember, we had Madeline Robinson, the executive director of Wheelchairs for Kids, here with us 2 weeks ago. And Joey, I made my bail.
Excellent.
I actually brought in more than
I was concerned.
No, I brought in more than my bail.
Oh, that's good.
So I actually did very, very well. But I'm just thinking now that might be a natural fit to be a sponsor for the show.
Well, you just need
That's
to
a nonprofit.
You need to reach out to some of your rich friends that helped you. That helped
Joey.
you get out of jail and tell them that you want them to be a sponsor
of the
for our
show.
show. Come on, let's go.
I
Let's get
love
it.
that idea, Joey.
So,
should we go to a caller real
yes,
quick? Because
yes.
I want to make sure that everything's working. I want to make sure that the callers are out there and we're honoring their time and their patience with us. Hey, Stephen St. Pete, what say you, my brother?
Yeah, I was just listening to the show and everything, and the young lady was talking about.
Thank you for calling
There
me
you
young,
go. She
Steve.
appreciates that. Oh, you got her attention right away, Stephen. Well done.
Anyway, it's interesting, what the Bible says about a woman's hair, just on that issue, that it's her glory, that it's her honor, that it should be shown. Now, the only time the scriptures say that a woman's head should be covered, even in recent times and in times past, a lot of times women would shave their heads in rebellion for some different reasons. And so their head would be covered until their hair grew back, and then their glory would shine again. So the hair covering is always it's a woman's hair should be her glory, and it should be shown.
Well, Mary covered her hair.
What's that?
Mary, the mother of Jesus, she covered her hair.
We're not talking about Mary. What we're talking about
Is Christians.
is women did not cover their heads unless they went into the synagogue, okay, in ancient times. But generally, when they walked around, a woman's hair was her glory, that it always should be shown. And see, my question, when I study Islam and you break it down, it's basically a mixture of Judaism, a little bit of Zoroastrianism, Babylonian astrology, and a little bit of the occult. How the religion is set up as a performance system. No, it is, though.
You left out Christianity, too. I mean, that's a big claim. Oh, it's just a copy of Christianity.
No, Jesus never claimed to copy anything.
No, I said Islam. You left Christianity out of
When
Islam.
you're comparing it to, yeah.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is Jesus Christ claimed to be God Almighty in the flesh. So either he was lying.
Well, I disagree with that. There's no scripture where Jesus says, "I am God, call me God." No.
Well, I could tell you where.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're here to have a theological debate, Steve.
Well, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say, why would... My thing is, if God offers you something for free, why are you trying to work for it?
If you're questioning why I wear my hair, because I follow the Quran, and the Quran is for me the word from God, and it says to cover my hair. So I'm just obeying.
No. But why are you? My question is real simple. Mm-hmm. If Islam is a performance system that teaches you got to do this, that, don't do this, don't. It's
a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if God is offering you salvation for the finished work of Christ on the cross, that he paid the price for your sin, why would you try to work your way into a performance system that has no answer for removing your sin?
Oh.
Okay, all right.
I have an answer to that, but probably not for this show.
Yeah, that'll be for another show. Thanks, Steve. Water got deep there real quick, didn't it?
Well, that's a deep point, and it's a good point, Steve, but it's one we're not going to be able to answer and resolve here.
Yeah, we're not here for a theological debate.
And sin and things of that ilk. But that's okay. Yeah, we moved on. So, Sherry, I'm sorry that you had to kind of fight that battle there, but again, and I don't want to even...
common.
Yeah, I guess that it is. I guess that it is. We don't do that on the conversation, but thank you, Steve, for your... what was I saying about Abraham Lincoln's quote?
Interesting thing. You'll never see me challenge someone else's faith. I don't question why you choose to be Christian or why you choose to be Jewish. I accept that that's your God-given right to decide what you want to believe.
Well,
it's part of the thing.
You've learned about what being on the receiving end.
But I'm just not extended the same courtesy just by default of being Muslim, unfortunately.
Ain't that the truth, Sherry? We're going to give you a little bell ring for,
so interesting.
Round one goes to Sherry.
So let's go back to because we were right at the moment of. Not endowments, but people underwriting.
Yeah.
Yes, underwriting.
And the fact that nonprofits can be sponsors of the show at 50% off.
Explain to someone out there why that and how that's different from advertising.
Well, we can't use specific language that you can use in regular advertising because of FCC compliance on air. So, we can't have a call to action. We can't use qualitative language. We can't use pricing information. So we have to structure our announcements in a particular way that makes it FCC compliant.
I see.
And that is the difference.
Yes, and qualitative descriptions would be the best burger in town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's not factual. If you don't have like an award, like if you say Emmy award winning, well,
I come in here with my Emmy every week.
You can prove that, right?
Yeah. But I'll show it to you on the video feed.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let's talk then about donors and that relationship. Tell us a little bit about what your responsibility is there.
So there's something in fundraising called the fundraising cycle, right? And that's, where you're basically articulating what you're doing, right? What is the great work that you're having? Mm-hmm. What is the impact that you're making? And then you might ask for donations, that's solicitation, and then you need to thank, you need to show appreciation to people. So we follow that structure, post drive, where we send out thank yous, and that's on air through you guys. It's through emails. It's through,
thank you cards that we fill out after the fundraising drive.
Yes, thank you cards. We also send out handwritten cards to donors, and we make phone calls. So any first-time donor gets a phone call and is welcomed to WMNF. New Circle of Friends got calls after this past fund drive, also thanking them for joining them and welcoming them. So it's relationship based. I mean, people look at fundraising as, you're just asking people, to fund your organization, but you're really building relationships with people, and you're providing an opportunity for people to align their natural desire to do good in the world with your mission.
And recurring.
You're giving them the opportunity to participate.
Exactly.
The other that you were describing there is a GoFundMe page. That's a one-time hit it and get out, hit it and quit it. But in this case, we're building relationships. That's why we encourage everybody to be a member of the Circle of Friends, because we want you to touch us every week, every month, like we touch you every week. We want to keep that going, that conversation, if you will. What a great name for a podcast.
There you go.
Radio show, The Conversation.
So, am I correct in saying that we are now receiving virtually no funds other than our donations that are made?
Yes.
What has the state done to us?
So last year in July, we used to get a Department of Education grant. All public media, TV and radio in the state of Florida got a Department of Education grant, and we lost that funding. And then 2 weeks later, we lost the federal funding with the CPB rescission. The great news is, something I would love to share with the listeners, is we had, as everyone knows, that we had the one day on-air emergency drive, and it raised, a great amount of money.
We participated. It was great.
Yes.
But that's only, sort of plugs the hole, right? We have a recurring issue annually. Every year we have that funding loss. So we really tried to prioritize joining the Circle of Friends, and I'm so happy to say that we increased our Circle of Friends. We have currently, 1 year later, covered 44% of the funding loss through the Circle of Friends. So our amazing listeners really came through. That's extremely impactful. It's given us a lot of extra revenue, which is going to allow us, it's not just sustainability, but it's growth, right?
Right. So that speaks very much, folks, to those who are listening right now as we come upon our fundraising drives. When we talk about the Circle of Friends, that's a really critical part of our endeavor, because once you're kind of in, and we don't have to worry about you anymore, and now we're going to go to someone else and ask them for money, and you are now in the system, and that supports a base of money that we can...
Well, it's projected revenue that you can count on every month, and you can plan for, and that's very powerful.
Right. So in the minutes we have left, Sherry, is there anything in development that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
Merch. Who decides the merch? Because we have some of the sexiest merch there is, man. We got bucket hats, we got T-shirts, we got koozies.
Yeah, I think, I hope that people feel like we've really, had some great merch. We're always trying to think of something new and something quality. I hope you've seen the quality has been good. But the credit for design goes to Robin Milkowitz, who is our amazing membership coordinator.
Oh, we're going to get Robin in here.
Also graphic designer, and she makes those fantastic designs that you see.
Robin is a multi-talented person.
She is. She's incredible. So we're a great team, and that's why we're doing great things.
Yeah, and merch, by the way, is we call it merch, but I think of it as gifts. You're not buying it. You buy merch.
Yeah, it's a thank you gift.
It's a gift, and I think that's not an easy task to come up with great gifts to give people.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And sometimes we have these great ideas, but when we try to search for them, they're cost prohibitive, or we can't find exactly what it is. So unfortunately, sometimes we're limited as well. We can't do all the things we dream of. So,
but we have a fun company that we deal with down in South Florida or somewhere around the Sarasota area that is really good with working with us as well. Correct?
Yeah, Bradenton for our T-shirts.
There you go.
Bradenton.
And it's a high-quality shirt, y'all. I mean, it's not like this Johnny-come-lately shirt. These are not Hanes beefy tees. So these fit you nice and they're nice and they're soft.
I've got one.
Yes.
A koozie that expands and can become a bucket hat.
Nice.
There.
2 for 1.
Huh?
Yeah.
A regular 2 for 1. Joey, say your goodbyes, because we're getting close. But first of all, Sherry,
the time is near to say goodbye.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
This has been wonderful.
And gracing us with all the information that you gave us today. We appreciate you so much and everything you do for us here. We count on you, and you are a leader when it comes to the fundraising time. So thank you so much.
Well, so let me just say before we leave for the day that
Yep, that's who's going to be on there instead of Sam I Am.
that's
so
it.
just
That-
so you know.
As always, special thanks to Jessica G, who is our engineer here, who's made all this possible, and also special thanks to Gabrielle, who's in the back, and she's just wonderful.
Answering our phones for us
Answering
today.
our phones, our phone taker. And coming up next, it's the Music Wednesday with Sally.
yeah, of course. She's right there.
Will not dally today in playing music for you.
On It's the Music
Stay
Wednesday.
tuned, folks.
So, on behalf of everybody that puts this little show together each and every week, and you just heard the principals involved, myself, Mario Nunez, and of course, Joe King Carter sitting next to me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your calls. Thank you for your insight. And I'm going to go out and grow my hair long, and I'm going to show it off. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Wear your crown.
Yeah, I'm going to wear it. What I have left of it anyway. Joey, you too, man. That's why we wear hats, brother.
I have beautiful hair, what little I have left.
What's left of it. Well, thank you again, everybody, for listening. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you again next Wednesday on The Conversation at WMNF Tampa.